Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton, a narcoleptic and comedian in Chicago, and this is a podcast where I invite people into my bed and we talk about sleep, dreams, life, comedy, whatever else floats your boat. This week is National Sleep Awareness Week, and Saturday, March 12th is National Narcolepsy Awareness Day. So for the occasion, I created a lighthearted, comedic PSA about narcolepsy that you can view on my YouTube channel. This is our second episode, and our guest today is Abby Stassen. She is a fellow Chicago comedian who suffers from circadian rhythm disorder. She'll be performing on April 10th at Bird City Comedy Festival, opening for Dana Gould. Let's get started with the show.
Sleeping with Sarah.
So how'd you sleep last night, Abby?
Pretty bad, actually. I've been sleeping in like 2 shifts now where I'll sleep for like a decent 4 or 5 hours, but then I just wake up and I'm done, but I didn't sleep enough, so I can't really carry that through to the whole day. And so then it's like I get tired really early, and then I have another like couple hours shift, and then I'm up again.
Is it like 3 to 4 hours?
Yeah, it's kind of like 3 to 4 hours every time. I think last time it was like 4 to 5, but then I tried to like push through yesterday, so I drank like 2 Red Bulls, but then I just went home and I was like, I'm still tired. So I went to sleep, but I had like these crazy dreams where I was trying to sleep with Meek Mill, which is like, I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm not interested in Meek Mill, but he was there. And so then I woke up and I was like, I gotta get out of the house, so...
Yeah, it's always weird. Actually, I talked to my sleep doctor about this. Apparently, it's okay to split up your sleep like that. Like,
yeah, unless you want a job.
Yeah, my uncle, he owns a bar, so he's always split up his sleep like twice.
Oh.
So like he's always like sleeps at like noon, from like noon to 4, and then goes in and then comes home at like 2 a.m. and then sleeps from like 2 to 6. You know, like
that would make sense with doing stand up too. That would make sense if it maybe pushed it that way.
Yeah, my doctor's definitely like, oh yeah, the stand up thing, that makes sense. That'd be really good for you.
Yeah,
I was like, oh great.
Yeah, my doctors were like entertainment, comedy, anything like that.
Well, we're in the right fields, right?
Yeah, we're in the right fields.
So you have a weird sleep thing, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, I have delayed sleep phase disorder. It's circadian rhythm disorder. And it's basically like...
Is it circadian?
Circadian.
Circadian. Okay.
Yeah, it's a circadian rhythm disorder, and it's basically like the environmental cues to make you wake up and go to sleep. They're kind of screwed up in my head, and it also takes my body like several hours more, maybe like 4 or 5 hours more to make kind of the chemicals that put your body to sleep. So I tend to not naturally fall asleep till like between 4 and 6 a.m., and then it's it's almost impossible for me to get up before 10, but like preferably 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I think getting up in the morning is like one of the hardest things for me. But that's, so your body just so I'm
kind of like naturally an owl, yeah. It's naturally nocturnal. And I was born that way too. Some people get it when they're a teenager and then they kind of have trouble shifting out of it. But yeah, mine's idiopathic. They don't know. I was just born like that.
So, as a baby? Like,
mm-hmm.
How did that work when you were, like, in grade school and stuff?
I mean, it wasn't so bad when I was in elementary school, because then, like, we'd go in at, I think school started at 9:30 maybe, and so I could kind of, it was more like by the end of the week, you could really tell that I was very, very tired. And then middle school and high school was really bad, because high school started at 6:23.
Oh,
in the morning,
that's so early, and that's such a specific time.
I know. I was talking to Marty DeRosa about this, and he was like, what if the principal had OCD? And he was like, it has to be 6:23. But I think it was actually they were trying to extend the school day gradually, because we got out at like 2:32 or something. Wow. So it was a weird way of like slowly tacking minutes on.
Weird.
Yeah, it was something weird like that. But yeah, 6:23 was like a very specific time. And so we had to, that's super early, and I was just a mess. I just had to take classes that were either the teacher kind of was smart enough to know that, like, something was up. So, like, once I got to know some of the teachers, it's like I tried to take, like, the photography teacher was cool about it. So, like, she knew some days, like, I just wasn't going to be with it or whatever. So I would just I would sleep through the classes, basically.
Yeah. I did that too. I used to sleep like in every class for at least 10 minutes, sometimes longer. Even PE, like I found a way to take a nap on one of the mats while we were waiting in line to do basketball or something.
That's awesome.
We only had a semester. I'm from Kentucky, so we only had a semester of PE through the whole high school. So
yeah, we got into that too. When I moved to Michigan, I moved to Michigan right at the right time because in Illinois, I think it's required every single day.
Yeah.
K through 12, and we had uniforms and stuff. But I moved to Michigan, and they were like, like a semester's fine.
Yeah, and ours was even like half the semester was health and half the semester was PE. So it was really like 6 weeks, which is like. I get that it's important, but for people like us that really had issues sleeping.
Yeah, I know.
Did teachers ever think you were, like, lazy and stuff?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't, teachers not so much as, like, it would be weird to be, like, bosses or even friends sometimes, because, like, I would, like, miss stuff with my friends, because it was, what it fell into was then after school, I would be so exhausted, I would have to sleep. So I didn't get to do, like, clubs or anything like that, really. And so I'd just, like, pass out from, like, 3 to, like, 11. And then I'd be, like, okay for a couple hours, and then I'd go back to sleep, and then do the whole thing the next day.
So would you do your homework at, like, 11 p.m. at night?
Yeah, or most of the time I tried to do it during school the day it was assigned. I would spend my lunch alone and do it.
No, I would do it during classes, because I was like...
Yeah, during classes, yeah.
I went to a private school for grade school and a public school for high school.
Yeah.
So, like, I learned a lot of the stuff already. Yeah. And so that's how I was able to pass my class even though I was sleeping through them. But the times that I was awake, I would do homework for other classes in a class that I found boring.
Yeah, or in a class where it's like you didn't have, or they were doing a video or something. I'd be like, I'll figure this out later.
No, I got, so...
Or would you just be out during the videos?
No, like So I had there was a big issue. So when I had a U.S. history teacher who was also like the football coach or basketball coach or something. So what he did was he showed videos all day. And if you fell asleep at all, you got a 0 for the day. Well, during me taking this class.
That's like a dare.
I know.
Why is your grading system based on a dare?
I know. But, and it was an honors class too, but like, anyways, it was so ridiculous. So I got diagnosed with narcolepsy like midway through his class, Yeah. And so we had my doctor talk to him, and my doctor, the reason I was able to get in with this doctor, this neurologist, is because his daughter went to my school. Oh. And I was friends with her. And he also had his daughter as a classmate. He asks my doctor's daughter about my condition as if she knows, because he thought...
Or like that's legal.
Yeah, he thought I was making it up, is the situation. He thought I was making this up just so that I could sleep through his class, which would be the dumbest lie ever.
Yeah, that would be like... And also, it's like, if you went to that length, it's like, wouldn't you kind of have earned it? I feel like, I don't know. So... Like, that's a long-haul lie.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, this whole narcolepsy thing, it's just like made up just so that I can sleep in the back of comedy clubs and not feel bad about it. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes people would think I made mine up too, and I was like, I'm really committed to this if I'm making this up. Like, shouldn't you just give this to me anyway?
So I ended up having to switch out of the dude's class, and like I ended up taking U.S. history as like an independent study, and like, but it was so ridiculous that this guy didn't believe me, and I don't know. I think it's so stupid that people just don't believe you.
Yeah. I think it's very odd the not believing you thing, because I ran into that a lot with bosses, and it was like I found that like now it's like I would have to tell them as little as possible, because it's like the more questions they ask, like the weirder it almost sounds. They're like, "What? You can sleep fine like during the day, but at night you can't just." What? And I was like, yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Yeah, like I can sleep fine like in the afternoon and like in the late morning, but like at night that's when I'm awake.
See, my bosses would understand it, but then they wouldn't understand if I came late. Like, I had to, like, they'd be like, well, why can't you just set 20 alarms? I said, well, I do, but mornings are really hard. Yeah. Sometimes I have a hallucination where I hallucinate that I'm getting ready and I'm not, and then...
Damn.
Oh, no.
Do you think you were getting ready?
Yeah, that happens a lot. It's so bad. And then sometimes I'll wake up, like, I'll take a nap in the evening, and I'll wake up and I'll see the clock's like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, great, I'm gonna get up for work, and it's 8 p.m. at night.
Oh, you get mixed up.
And I'm like, I just showered and got ready to go to a mic.
You probably smell better than most of the people there, at least.
Yeah, so if I ever smell good at a mic, that's why. Yeah. No, I just get super confused in the morning, and I'll have sleep paralysis sometimes in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I can't usually get out of that. It either, if I have it, it's less now, but if I have it, it's like, I don't get out of it until like 20, 25 minutes in. Or
so it's like, so that's when you can't move your body, right?
Yeah. You feel like but you feel like you can see everything around you and hear what's going on around you, but you can't. Weird. And I used to have that in class a lot too. Ooh. But I used to every morning in high school I had the hallucinate spider crawling in my leg, and and I wouldn't be able to move or scream unless somebody said my name or physically touched me. Those are the only two ways I could get out of it.
Like break a spell.
Yeah, it's weird because in school I would do it, and if the teacher, I could hear everything that was going on in class.
Yeah.
Teacher would be like, Sarah, and I'd be like, oh, this is the answer. And then they'd be like, what the fuck?
Whoa, that's so weird. Yeah, well, what happened to me was in the morning was like sleep drunkenness, which is like basically where you're so out of it that like you can get up and move around, but it's like you're drunk. Like I would take body wash, or I would take like shampoo and use it to wash my face because I would confuse the bottles and stuff like that would happen. Or like I would, or it's like I don't know, I'd do weird things, like I'd put like books in the refrigerator to put them away or something like that.
Yeah,
like that doesn't make any sense.
I'm not that, but I am confused to where I had to come back to my apartment like 4 times when I leave the house because I forgot my keys or I forgot my phone, because I get super forgetful. Like, I'm not really there the first 20 minutes after I wake up. Yeah, or my mom would try to, like, tell me something, and I'd be like, I won't remember that at all. Like, you can't tell me now. You have to leave me a note, and I'll read it later. I've had conversations, my roommates are like, did you remember talking to me last night? Nope. Don't remember at all. Nope, I was gone. Yeah. It's really awkward trying to explain that to people you're dating, too, I think. Like, the dating things come in, especially if I'm trying to date somebody with a normal job. Because, like, I don't know, most people, like, in the arts that I've dated, they've been like, oh, you sleep weird? They're like, I've dated, like, so many addicts and stuff. They were like, that's not that bad. But then, like, normal people don't get it all. Or, like, I would have boyfriends, so they wouldn't understand why I couldn't, like, it was so hard for me to get up and leave with them in the morning when they had to go to work. And they're like, but you don't even, like, have a job. I was like, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I'm still tired. And it's like, this is why I don't have a job. Like, not the other way around. See, I find it easier when I have a specific place to be at a specific time, because it makes it easier for me to try to keep it scheduled, but it's still hard because, like, I still need more sleep than most people. Yeah, I need more in general, too. I found, like, I need, like, 10 hours to feel okay. I need 10, but, like, if I don't take my medicine in the morning, I mean, I'll sleep 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Easy. Oh, yeah. No, I think I've done up to 15 or 16 before. I've definitely done, like, 20. Fine, you win. Yeah. It's so bad, though. Yeah. But, yeah, I can't, like, really function without, you know? Yeah, no, yeah, I'm on meds, too, that help, but, like, it's still not... Now, the other problem, too, is, like, because my stuff that I take to help me stay awake... It also works better, like, later in the day and at night, because it's not, like, an uphill battle as much. So it's, like, they can either load me up in the morning, or, like, just kind of... Yeah. Yeah. So do you drink coffee or caffeine? Caffeine I actually have a very bad response to. Coffee and stuff, it tends to make my heart race really bad, and not really do much else, or I'll get, like, kind of, like, angry or anxious, but, like... It's oddly enough, like, Red Bull is better than coffee for me, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because, like, there's always the same amount, you know, like, there's variety in, like, coffee of how much caffeine, but, like, or if it's, like, I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, who knows, but Red Bull seems to be more consistent for me than... Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't really drink much caffeine. Like, if I have to drive somewhere and I'm a little tired, sometimes I'll drink a Coke. But usually a Mexican Coke, like with the real sugar. Yeah. I'm good with. I like Coke. I can have like 8 Coke. Yeah, but like I usually only have like 1 or 2 a month, maybe. So yeah, but yeah, like so then you live by yourself, right? So it's very difficult for me to have roommates. I had roommates for a few years. And it was really hard because a lot of them, like, were baristas and stuff, so they'd be getting up to go to work, like, as I was, like, falling asleep. So then it was, like, a noise thing, but then, like, I'd be awake when they were trying to sleep. So you're a light sleeper, too. Yeah, I'm a light sleeper. Well, depending on what time of day it is, too. Like, in the afternoon, it's, like, I think there's been major, like, huge, loud thunderstorms that I've just, like, slept through because it was in the afternoon. But I'm a light sleeper at night when I'm supposed to be. See, I've definitely put, in my last roommate ad, I think I put... Please be a heavy sleeper. Yeah. Like, because, like, everybody else is a heavy sleeper, you know, and it works out super well. Yeah. Or because, like, I don't know how heavy sleeper Emily is, but she comes in late as well, so it's not a big deal. Derek's a heavy sleeper. He has a 9 to 5, but he doesn't care what time we come in. Yeah. So. Yeah. It's nice, but. Yeah, and my cat just, you know, drives people crazy, too, because his schedule's all messed up because of mine. Oh, do you think does your cat like copy your sleep schedule?
Kind of, yeah. Like he's very alert, like at night, and he'll be running around at like 4 a.m. and trying to freak out. And it's like I'm trying to, I'm still fighting and trying to like wind down and stuff, but like he'll want to play, and I'm like, I got you. I made you this way.
Do you think that, like, all your weird sleep stuff, do you think it makes you, like, more creative because you're up late at night and...
Sometimes I think it's definitely easier for me to focus at night, because there's not as much going on, you know? There's not as much to do, so it's, like, it's easier for me to focus. I definitely get some of my best writing done later at night, I'd say between 12 and 2. So, yeah, and it's, like, during the times when I had, like, sort of adjusted back, I noticed I seemed to kind of lose that. Because it was like, I just felt like all my energy was going into trying to stay awake.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have any extra brain power for what have you. So.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I am, like, struggling, like, I have to stay awake. It's rude if I fall asleep during the show. Yeah. It's like, I have to stay awake. Yeah.
So you fall asleep during shows?
Well, sometimes. Like, if it's in the, like, if it's super, like, first of all, if it's, like, a very comfortable chair, and it's, like, a dark room, or it's really warm in the room, it is so easy for me to fall asleep.
Oh, I hate it when it's warm. I like it cold.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the cold will keep me awake. Oh. But, like, the warmth, I get, like, all cozy, and if it's a nice chair, like, I think I fell asleep most recently, I fell asleep at the CBA mic, because I was sitting in one of the comfy chairs, and they had, like, the fireplace on or something, or it was just really cozy, and I just ended up... But I'll fall asleep for, like, a minute or two. Like, nobody notices. Yeah. Like, and if they do, they're not... most of them know that I have narcolepsy, so it's not like... I'm not being rude. It's not that people are boring. But...
Yeah, it does get to the point where you almost just have to announce it to people. So, yeah. Because, like, especially with yours, because you'll just fall asleep, like, randomly.
Oh, well, okay, so I was at this midnight show at I.O. on Saturday night, and we were sitting in the back, and I fell asleep for a second, you know, because I was just really tired. And Martin Morrow, like, comes up and, like, knocks me awake. And the first thing out of my mouth...
Martin would.
And the first thing out of my mouth was, I have narcolepsy. He's like, I know. And, like... That was just like, I wasn't even thinking, I was like, oh, the first thing I was like, it's like on defense. I have narcolepsy. Like, it's okay. It was just so weird that the first thing that I said...
Man. Well, yeah, and Martin knows me, too, so he's probably like, God, these white women and their sleep disorders, what the hell is going on?
I don't know, like, I think people are pretty understanding in terms about it, like, if friends and stuff, I think they just get it, or people will be like, you seem tired, it's okay if you want to take a nap.
Yeah, that's nice. No, people are always like, no, you can just, like go to bed earlier, and it's like, no, I'm just laying here, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I think people that are just like, they don't understand that people's bodies react differently to it.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, no matter how much sleep I get, the next day I feel like a normal person's been up for 2 days. Yeah. Like, that's how I feel all the time, 2 or 3 days. That's how I feel all the time. And so people don't get that.
Yeah, that sleep deprivation for us feels very different from sleep deprivation for them. It's like a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That was what I had to accept, at least, because I was like, there's no way people would be this big of jerks about it if they felt the same way that I feel.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that you could feel this way and, like, not be like, no, like, go take a nap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing. The only thing is sometimes I'll fight to stay awake, or sometimes I'll be so tired and not realize it, and then I say things that don't make sense. Are you getting tired now? Are you gonna be my first person that falls asleep during the podcast?
No, I've been yawning for days because I've been on this weird, like I said, that weird cycle thing, and it's just like it's been very hard for me to stay up during the day, but at night, I don't know, it's almost getting stronger again, like where I'm fine staying up at night, but.
Do you think it gets better when it's warmer out and the sun's out more?
Yeah, it improves a lot when it's warmer out. I typically, on days when it's either raining or snowing, I notice it's the hardest for me to get going because the cloud cover is so much, like, denser and stuff. So, like, when I saw it was snowing today, I was like, oh, man, this one's going to be a struggle. At least it's not. It doesn't look like it's sticking, though, which is good.
Yeah. I think it looks pretty when it snows, but, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have weird dreams and stuff, or do you dream a lot?
Not as much as I used to. I started dreaming again, but it was because they put me back on Prozac, and that makes me dream. But
that's a tagline for Prozac. I haven't heard. Prozac. It makes you dream.
It makes you dream. Yeah, and it's like once we got up to a certain milligram of it, I was dreaming again. But typically, before that, I wasn't dreaming for like a year or two, and it's because I was mostly using pot to help me fall asleep too, because that kind of suppresses that.
But, a lot of people self-medicate with that.
Oh yeah, it's great. Oh yeah, it's great. Pot, it's great. So I think that, I don't know if it's partly because of that or it's partly because I wasn't on like an antidepressant per se for a while.
Huh.
But yeah, there was a good year or two where I just didn't dream at all. I thought it was great. I used to lucid dream. I used to have crazy tripped out dreams.
Lucid dreaming's fun though.
Yeah, it took me forever to actually get it, and then once I got it, I had like 2 cool dreams, and then then that period started where I just didn't dream at all. So,
weird.
Yeah.
Well, I think you technically still dream. You just don't remember your dreams.
Yeah, or I wasn't remembering my dreams, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, I guess for me, it's like weird because I remember a lot, or like I'll be asleep for a minute and have dreams, you know, and so it's like a very weird type of thing.
Or yeah, definitely. And I also wonder too if I'm like what you said, how you'll have, well, this is definitely different than that, but you'll think that you'll like hallucinate like getting up and doing all that stuff, and I'm wondering if I'm actually dreaming that I'm waking up, because I know when I got my sleep study done, I thought I woke up like 1,000 times. Like, I felt like I was constantly just waking up and going back to sleep and waking up and going back to sleep, and they were like, no, you only woke up like 3 times. Oh. And I'm like, that's bizarre, because like I remember waking up more than that. Like I remember waking up like 5 times.
I'll do that too. Like if I fall asleep on the couch, like I'll dream that my roommate came home, and then they come home later, and I'm like, oh wait, you didn't come home like an hour ago? No, I didn't. Like, so it's like sometimes I feel like my dreams are so realistic that I can't tell the difference, or like I'll have a conversation with somebody that didn't happen, or the other way.
Sometimes I've had to check with people where I'm like, are you, like, did we actually talk about this? Or are you mad at me? Like, and they're like, no.
Yeah, it's a weird thing though. Like, I don't know. I think it's just something like we learn to live with, but it's so weird to have something that like people can't, like, it's a disability people can't see, you know?
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
invisible disabilities thing is a huge thing.
It's hard for people to like get it.
Sometimes I'm like, you know, it would be easier to explain if I just had cancer.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't want cancer.
It's sleep cancer.
Yeah, it is. It's sleep cancer.
We both have sleep cancer. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah,
like,
it's cancer on like a body part, on like an idea or something.
Yeah, I think it's a lot harder for people to get if they don't know exactly. Like, a lot of people don't really get sleep disorder. Like, they understand sleep apnea because that's advertised a lot because they make a lot of money.
And if you sleep next to somebody with sleep apnea, God help you, you'll hear what's going on.
Yeah, I don't have sleep apnea, but I think when I did my sleep test recently, like a year or 2 ago, they said like I snore like 1.3 times per hour. So
interesting. They said that when I'm on my back, I'll stop breathing more times than is normal, but not enough to be considered sleep apnea. They were like, so just don't sleep on your back. And I was like, okay.
So it's like if you sleep on your side like this, I think it's supposed to help.
Yeah, that's what they told me to do, is I have to sleep on my side.
Yeah, I Googled that because I had someone that was like telling me that I snored.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I snore, I talk in my sleep, I do a lot of weird stuff. I feel like I
used to talk in my sleep. I don't think I do anymore.
I don't really know, like, because I haven't had like a long, like a real relationship in a bit, so
yeah,
I feel like that's more of the stuff that people tell you then.
Yeah, well I know, like, or when I would visit my parents or whatever, they would, like, I would talk to them in my sleep sometimes, but like when I visited them, they haven't noticed that.
So when did you get diagnosed with this?
I got diagnosed, well, there was a guy when I was in high school in Michigan who was like, I'm 99% certain that this is what's wrong with you, and I read it and I was like, yeah, that's probably right.
So, like, a high school student?
No, it was a sleep doctor in high school. They finally sent me somewhere because I was having so many problems. But he was like, especially because I was playing ice hockey at the time, and our ice time was 11 p.m.
I thought ice hockey was like super early in the morning. Like, my brother had to do it at like 5 a.m.
No, I don't. Well, the problem is it was the only ice time we could afford. we were the girls team, so they had to merge us with our like enemy high school, and neither one of these high schools exists anymore. So I don't know. So they had to merge us with them to have enough people in the first place, and then like that was like the cheapest ice time because by then like the rink was just like pitted and stuff from like everybody else's skates. They're like, give it to the girls team.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I think that's why we were at that time, was a lack of funding. But I didn't want to stop playing ice hockey, and I was also like, well, all the stuff to fix this, like it's first of all, it's not really a fix. Like if you do achieve it, the relapse rate is I think 93% within a year. So really, yeah. So really, the relapse rate is so high with this, and I think it's like 35% within a week, or something.
How many people like know they have it? Is it like super? Because
you don't. Because the other thing is, you don't need a sleep study to diagnose it. I got it done to rule out anything else, like to rule out restless leg. Because at the time I like kicked a decent amount, but that turned out to be from a medication I was on for OCD, but which is I guess also kind of correlated with it, as well as ADHD. It's kind of correlated with this one. But,
so is it like you think it's like it's a neurological thing, right?
Yeah, it is. I think they recently moved it into the neurology section.
It's so weird how they have different categories and like some things, like if a doctor doesn't specialize in this, like I was misdiagnosed.
Yeah, or like the code's wrong or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I was misdiagnosed for like 2 years, or like I kept getting tested for things and they just didn't know what was up. They kept saying I had mono because mono stays in your blood. I'm like, oh, your blood type just keeps coming up mono. I'm like, no, that's
no, that's a different thing.
Yeah, and so but yeah, it's a weird thing that only certain kind of doctors are trained on certain things, and it's kind of
or even the one and so finally so I was officially diagnosed. I want to say in 2010 or 2011?
Was that where you still had
No, I was living in the city at the time, and I believe it was 2010. Yeah, because I'd been living with roommates for like a year. So yeah, the official diagnosis came in 2010. But I kind of already knew that was what was wrong. And then the guy who initially diagnosed me was really nice, and he was like, well, like most of my clients that have this, they find it's just easier to like be like a freelance writer or have their own business or something like that. And he's like, your life's going to be different. That doesn't mean it won't be just as like fulfilling. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, but unfortunately I have to hand you off to this other guy who is trained in this stuff, and that guy was an asshole. I left that guy's office in tears every time.
Oh no!
He made me feel terrible, and they did because they believe that they actually wasted money doing a study on this, and they were like, it was like the personality type of people who have my sleep disorder, and were seen as insubordinate, really, and like because we were like or like really non-compliant with treatment, and it's like no, it's because like your treatment is for shift work sleep disorder, which is like when a normal person gets screwed up. Yeah. Your treatment doesn't work for somebody who was born like this or who had this and like now it's like,
and that's like new vigil or provigil, right?
And which I had some success.
I hated that.
Yeah.
So
it gave me weird migraines and I had to stop.
I feel like there's a lot of money for that company because like I've tried to.
They use it in the military.
I've had several doctors try to push that on me, and I tried it in high school and it made me crazy.
Yeah.
And I tried it after, like a couple years later, and they didn't tell me because they give you free samples when you first sign up for a drug, right?
So you were just like,
no, yeah. They didn't tell me that it messes with your birth control.
That was why.
And the thing was, so I went because they gave me a month worth of free samples, right? They didn't tell me that, and then I went to get it filled at the pharmacy, and Walgreens pharmacist is like, "Oh, this birth control pill and this thing, you know, these drugs don't work together, do you?" Yeah. I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "I'm switching my doctor because I lost complete trust in my doctor, and I had my first and only." Thank God, pregnancy scare.
Yeah, yeah. I remember reading that, and because at the time I wasn't seeing anybody, and then it turned out that it gave me really weird migraines, and I think that maybe the dose was too high, but that was Provigil. Nuvigil I never tried, but I know the military uses it.
I'm pretty sure Nuvigil and Provigil are like the same thing.
Yeah, they're the same. One like lasts a little longer. It's just a way to extend the patent.
Yeah, I don't know, like, but, I mean, basically, even my dad said, like, you sounded like a different person on the phone when you were on Provigil.
Whoa.
Like, I sounded like I was depressed. Like, I didn't know. He just said, like, I didn't sound like myself. And it just, I don't know. I think it's weird that doctors push different drugs because they're like, oh, you're on the medicine, it's not good for your heart long term. And then I've had other doctors that are like, you know what, it's fine. You've been on this medicine for 10 years. It's a system that works for you.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
It's like as long as your checkups are coming in clear, like why
I've never had like high blood pressure or heart issues or anything like that. So it's like I feel like sometimes they try to push drugs that are like, you know.
Yeah, supposedly safer, but it's like those drugs are even newer and they don't even know what they really do long term. So it's like this could give you crazy kidney stones for all we know. I don't know. I'm just pulling that one out of thin air. Yeah.
Man, but that's
Yeah.
Did you have trouble? Like, did you do all right in high school for that? Like, sleeping wise, did they accommodate you at all? Or
no? Well, because we went to that guy. He was like, "This is probably it," and it was like, it was just so new of a concept. And I think also, like, my depression hadn't really been treated yet either. So I was like, I almost didn't have the energy to fight for it. And we just moved to a different state, and, like, just all this stuff was going on. So I was kind of like, well, this just kind of sucks. And I was so used to it kind of sucking anyway that I thought, like, I kind of, you know, for years they told my mom that, like, I would grow out of it. I'd grow out of it. And so, like, part of me kind of internalized that too. And I blame myself for a lot of it. And it's, like, it was really hard for me to come to terms with the fact that, like, it wasn't my fault that I was like this.
Of course it's not your fault.
I know. Like, but I internalized so much of, like, what they said to me, and they made me feel pretty bad.
Well, before I knew what was wrong with me, people just kept I mean, and the thing is, like, that's why I hope people know more about this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, people keep telling me that I'm lazy, and you start to believe it after a while.
Yeah, you start to believe, and you start to act lazy. Yeah.
But I'm not the type of person or personality that's lazy.
Yeah.
So my parents knew. They're like, okay, we know.
Yeah, my parents were, like, the only ones who believed me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's good. That's what helped. That's what helped me through it a lot, is having the support from my parents, and I'm super thankful that they spent all the, like, I mean, that probably wasn't cheap to take me to doctors and time and effort and all that, and, like, but they knew, and it feels good to have people on your side when you're doing that, because imagine if nobody believed you, if you're And, like, now my dad's like, oh, man, I used to scream and get so mad at you for not waking up in the mornings. And now
it was stressful for my mom trying to get me up.
He felt so bad later. He's like, I felt so bad. I just thought you were just being but that's the thing. Like, I feel like people just assume you're a teenager, you're being lazy.
And I was never a lazy personality either. But it was like, it just doesn't work at this time. It just doesn't work. And I don't know what else to tell you, people.
Have you ever done, like, second shifts at works and stuff, or?
No, well, because by the time that I kind of, like, I was a dog walker for years, and that worked out okay, but then I blew out my knee, and I couldn't do that anymore, and by that time I was doing stand-up, and it's like, well, if I do some kind of second shift work, then I'm kind of giving up stand-up, which I kind of can't do. I've explored, like, maybe doing some, like, night shifts at, like, restaurants or something, because I know that it's not, you don't always have to, like, work, or it's like maybe I could hit some mics or something. I'm still trying to work that out, but it's basically like it would be very difficult for me to work 40 hours a week and, you know, that type of 9 to 5 thing.
Man.
That's the number one problem that people with delayed sleep have is maintaining enough, you know, enough employment, because they're kind of chronically underemployed or unemployed. So
is there, like, a lot of people, or are there, like, networks or groups of people, or
I finally found a couple online, and then more and more people come, and they're like, oh my god, like, I never knew what was wrong, like, I always just thought I was crazy or something. And there's not a lot of official organization. It seems to be getting better. There's, like, one organization called the Circadian Rhythm Disorders Network, and they have a website with some good stuff on it, but, like, it's been pretty slow to organize, and there's a couple people I found I found one girl on Reddit who had it, and I, like, looked through her stuff, and I think we were gonna video chat one time, and then I lost track of her, and then I checked in with her again, like, 6 months to a year later, and I was like, hey, like, have things gotten any better for you? And she was like, I tried to kill myself, and I was like, okie dokie, jeez Louise. Yeah.
So what are the symptoms mainly? Like, what are the...
Well, the biggest tell is, like, just not being able to get up, like, for any alarm whatsoever, and it's also, like, or, like, you'll be able to get up, like, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, but it's like you'll try to reset your sleep. Like, people will be like, oh, just, like, wake up earlier, and you'll be really so tired by the time night comes around that you'll fall asleep earlier, and then it'll reset. But that doesn't happen for people like me. What happens is you get a kick of energy in the evening, no matter what, which just pushes you further awake, and then you fall asleep at the time you would normally fall asleep with a disorder, which is, like, you know, between 2-6, depending on how delayed you are. And so you just become more and more sleep deprived, which is why throughout the week at school, by Thursday or Friday, I was just a crazy person. And I would be mean too, and, like, I would be like
crabby.
Yeah, that was my nickname in high school, was Crabby.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. My friend spelled it with
Crabby Abby.
Yeah, my friend just called me Crabby. She spelled it with a K. But yeah, so because I would just be cranky as fuck by the time Friday rolled around because I wasn't sleeping. And so it was, and it's also just like, or sometimes it would be, or then the sleep drunkenness, like when I would try to get up, like not really knowing what was going on. And a lot of times too, like I remember I'll be way too hot if I'm trying to sleep at night. It has to be really cold, because typically, like, when melatonin kicks in, your body gets colder. But it's like, because mine was going off at the wrong time, I would be super hot. So I remember that was like a weird thing. Yeah, so I need my room really cold to kind of mimic like the cooler body temperature of somebody who's going to sleep. So yeah, that was like a weird thing. Because I remember I've always been way too hot when I've tried to go to sleep, and like warm environments like don't help me sleep.
Interesting. See, I'm the opposite with that.
Yeah, because I noticed that earlier. But
yeah, man, that's it's so interesting. Like, it's always good to like learn about other disorders and things, and I don't know. I feel like I try to just give awareness more to like my thing, so that people, first of all, know it's real. It's not like a made up thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how people still think like, oh wait, that's a real thing. Like, it's a real thing.
Ding dong.
An alarm. Yeah, so we'll wind it down a little bit. So like, I know we talked about like our dreams we have at night, but like, what other dreams like in general like do you have like for the future for like what you want to do or?
Well, I want to keep going with stand up. I want to see how far I can take that. I've got some cool shows coming up for Green Gravel Comedy Festival and Bird City in Phoenix that I'm very excited about.
Those are fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to go to Pheonix because they have nice dry air there, and it's just great to breathe in. And,
I've never been to Phoenix. I hear it's beautiful out there, though.
Yeah, no, I've been to Tucson, but not Phoenix. But I want to try and I'm trying to write some spec scripts right now. I'm working on a spec script for Rick and Morty, which
cartoons are hard for specs.
Yeah, well, and Rick and Morty's really hard now. It's like, oh, what did I get into? But yeah, because I've always really wanted my own animated series, what I've really wanted.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, is something I've always been interested in. So trying to get more into animated comedy and stuff like that, and just seeing how far I can go with stand up because I love it way more than I ever thought I would. So, and it works great with my schedule.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that the specs are great to have. I mean, that's great, like, thing to just try to get jobs as writer and that kind of thing. And animated series, well, that'll be fun. That's cool.
What about you?
I've this new thing, this podcast, that's one thing. The Secret Size and Alibis continuing to push that, and I'm also writing a web series. So
cool.
We've got about 7 of 8 episodes written, and then we're gonna take a pilot class together and try to write.
That's a good idea.
I need to revisit my specs. Speaking of, I have a spec in Broad City that I need to fix a little bit.
That would have been a good one, damn.
No, but you can do, multiple. I mean, really, from what I hear, I don't know if this is right. Like industry, people are probably gonna be like, "Oh, you're completely wrong, sir." Yeah. But I hear like you should have at least 2. Yeah. Because then they're like, if somebody likes something you have, the next thing they're gonna ask is, "Oh, what else do you have?" And if you don't have anything else, then like,
I feel like 2 is a good number to have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, having animated series is great because not a lot of people do those as much.
Yeah. Well, I'm certain to see why, but I'm not gonna give up on it. I'm gonna finish it. So
yeah. Those are great. That sounds like you're keeping busy with stuff, so that's good.
Yeah. It's the other thing too that makes this hard is like you really do have to be your own management of your time, because if you're not constrained by the 9 to 5 cycle of time that everybody else is, it's almost like you have to make your own 9 to 5, and it's kind of bizarre.
Or you have to create these projects and things that you're working on that you're really excited about, that you really believe in because you want to work on them. Yeah. Because if it's just something you're kind of half-assing, it's like, I could just be sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. I could just be sleeping. I think that's a good one to go out on. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you. This is fun.
Awesome.
I'm Sarah Albritton, and thank you for listening to Sleeping with Sarah, where I slept with Abby Stassen. I'm releasing a new podcast every week. Tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. You can also view the video on YouTube or follow me on Twitter at Sarah Albritton. Good night.
Sleeping with Sarah.